want to talk about why your brokerage does not care about you, or at least this is my opinion why they don't care about you, and really a way to fix it. So I really want to start today's conversation with a number that I want to kind of ingrain in you moving forward as we make our way through the rest of this video. And that number is 42%. You see, 42% resembles the amount of churn that the average brokerage receives. Now, the term churn, if you've never heard that mentioned before, it resembles, or it means turnover. Like businesses, they measure the amount of churn or turnover that they have for customers or maybe employees. But in this particular case, brokerages have a 42% churn rate. Now, really take a second to think about that. That number is pretty huge. That's a pretty significant number. Like, I actually remember a story back in high school, back when I was a freshman, and I remember the dean during our orientation. He said, look to the left of you, look to the right of you, look in front of you, look behind you. And he pretty much said that, by the time you become a senior and graduate, chances are maybe 2 or 3 of the people that you're looking at will not be here anymore. And I think about that particular story and that particular point in my life, and I think about agents as they jump into a new brokerage, into a new business. 42% essentially resembles the exact same thing. That means that if you join a brokerage, chances are maybe 2 or 3 of the people that you've met at the point of you joining the brokerage versus the time, maybe a month or a quarter or a year from that particular point in time, they're probably not going to be there. Now, churn in itself can be caused by a number of different reasons. It could be, maybe some of these agents that jump on board into these brokerages, they're really bad at time management, or really, they're looking for mentorship and they're not getting solid mentorship, or maybe, they're leaving because of bad splits, maybe it's bad leadership, maybe it's bad tech, maybe, hey, they even have life events, and that's causing them to have to pivot their career from what was thought to be real estate to maybe something else. But anyway, the list can go on and on. But really the point here is that your brokerage, or at least the good brokerages for that matter, they're very well aware of this number. Now, I'm using 42% as a generalization, but quite honestly and pretty significantly, that number is quite high. And by all means, do a quick Google search. You'll see the numbers and the stats, but really the average that I found is about 42%. Anyways, that's it. In order for me to really help you understand why your brokerage really doesn't care about you, it's really starting to unpack and peel the onion and really looking at the brokerage model and really comparing that to the agent model. And I'm talking about the business models themselves. And the way, and really the analogy I like to use is gas versus electric, right? Gas being the brokerage model and electric vehicles being the agent model. So check this out. Alrighty, so what you're looking at on my screen now is my very, very horrendous representation of 2 types of engines. On the left, you have the gas engine, which is the brokerage model, and then on the right, you have the agent model, which is the EV. Now remember, all businesses are modeled after really a very simple principle that they need to generate revenue in order for them to progress, in order for them to move forward. So in both the brokerage and the agent model, this is, the money being made. This is how the business moves forward, right? I'm gonna put $ here, an arrow here to show and really resemble that this is the business or the engine moving forward. Now, the big difference between the agent model versus the brokerage model is really the fuel, all right? And I wanna talk real quick about the fuel for the brokerages, which more specifically is real estate agents. You see, agents are fed into the brokerage machine and, they kind of do their little whoop-de-whoop churn with the expectation that agents, they're going to generate revenue. They're going to close deals, or maybe they have monthly fees or maybe different things like that. And through that process, they're going to inevitably make money. The brokerage is going to make money and it's going to continue to, produce. It's going to grow. It's going to provide, I guess, for the brokerage. But here's the kicker. The exhaust of this gas machine, which is the brokerage machine, hey, guess what? The exhaust is the agents. And here's my really bad drawing of fumes. This is the carbon dioxide or monoxide that's just being excreted from this brokerage gasoline machine. Look, at the end of the day, guys, the reason the brokerages have this machine is because the point of this machine is to generate revenue, to make money. And the way that the brokerages make money is the agents. They feed enough agents into the machine. Eventually, the agents are going to have a transaction and or maybe they have monthly fees or just fees in general. And through that process, the brokerage makes money. And if an agent doesn't actually do any transactions, they're pretty much kicked to the curb. They're the exhaust. Conversely, we have the agent model, the EV model, the electric vehicle model, where there really isn't any exhaust, because the idea here is that we want to feed the fuel into the machine, which is clients. And really your job as a real estate agent is to get your client to their goal, whether it be, purchasing a home or selling a home, or selling a home to purchase a home, or maybe finding a lease or any derivative of that. The idea here is that you need to work your magic within your machine, right, to get the outcome, the result. And in this particular case, I would even go as far as to say that the outcome of your machine is actually not only money in your pocket, but a result or a home for your clients, a place to live for your clients. And the reason I say that, the agent machine is an electric vehicle machine is because you really don't have the exhaust. You don't have this output of, carbon monoxide or dioxide or whatever it may be, any waste coming out, because if you've done your job right as a real estate agent, you should be able to retain your client. And it'll just be a circular motion of, getting a client, serving the client, and then when they're ready to move on to bigger and better, or maybe downsize, you're still going to be able to maintain and service that client. There isn't really going to be any exhaust. Well, of course, with the caveat of, hey, maybe some deals go south or go sour, and that does happen. But for the most part, any successful agent, or if you really want to maintain the growth of your business, you want to try to maintain as many client relationships as possible. And that's why you have this electric vehicle model, where your clients are going to be the fuel for your model, and it's going to be reciprocated over time. And through that process, you'll be able to kind of move your career forward in real estate. Now, look, it really behooves the brokerage to try to retain as many agents as possible, because, at the end of the day, it only feeds the machine. The more agents there are at a brokerage, the more that particular brokerage grows. But here's the harsh reality, guys. Really, most brokerages suck at this. And I say most because there are a few brokerages that actually care. I mean, I've crossed quite a few brokerages that really care about the development and the growth of their agents. And typically these brokerages, for the most part, they're smaller brokerages, and they have the time and the capacity and the bandwidth to really tailor a strategy toward teaching and mentoring, to really help develop, the agents that are in the brokerage. So it really reduces the churn, and over time, they're able to capture more agents and really grow that brokerage exponentially. But for the most brokerages out there, they really don't care about their agents. They really just do their best to dangle the lowest hanging fruit, to really try to convince agents to join their brokerage. Look, this fruit can be a number of different things. It could be like a CRM maybe, or maybe they handle your marketing, or maybe they have, some special budget assigned for you to do whatever you need to do for, ads or things like that. Or maybe they give you really great splits. And I say splits loosely and in quotations because I've actually talked to a couple of agents that got really great splits, but they didn't hit their numbers, and it ended up just backfiring on them. Like, there's some fine print that really just screwed their business up. Anyways, look, this list can go on and on. But look, at the end of the day, if you're really trying to figure out if a brokerage cares about you as an agent, then you really should look at the mannerisms of its leadership. More specifically, like, what are the people doing that are in charge? Are they really focused more on recruiting or more on cultivating? And here's the kicker. I'm talking about specifically the leadership. Are they the ones leading the charge to help cultivate and develop their roster of agents? Or versus, they're just hiring a bunch of people to do a whole bunch of talks in the brokerages throughout the week just to fill stuff up on the calendar and, disguise it as training, when in reality, what one teacher or one person is preaching is completely different from someone else. Like, one person will show up to a brokerage and teach something on a Monday. Another person will show up to a brokerage to teach something completely different on a Wednesday, and it's just completely conflicting. But they're packaging it up as, hey, we're teaching you how to run your real estate business. It's not really the case. All they're doing is just feeding a whole bunch of people, and those people are just really trying to sell you. But what I'm trying to explain to you really is that if the brokerage's leadership are actually taking the time in the team meetings to help you understand strategies, methodologies, tactics, mindset, then chances are that's probably a better brokerage than really most of what's out there. Which then leads me to the final point of really this entire video, which really boils down to helping you understand that you should not be reliant on your brokerage, and you really should be focusing on your self-development. Really the development of you and your business. What it boils down to, and really having talked to a lot of successful agents, they spend a lot of time really investing into themselves and learning what they need to learn to really establish their business. Remember, you're not quote unquote real estate agents, you're actually entrepreneurs, and you have have a business to run. Brokerages are no more than an ancillary piece, an ancillary component to the overall machine that is your real estate business. But inevitably, you have to look out for the self-interest of you and your business. And that essentially means investing in yourself and investing into education. Look, it might seem really, really easy for you to sign up to a brokerage because they're gonna preach to you mentorship or training or classes, and it's probably part of their free education, or their education for a nominal monthly fee that you have to pay for to the brokerages. But the reality of it is it's very disjointed. It doesn't really work too well. You're better off investing your money and your time into educating yourself through coaching, through different avenues to help better understand the missing pieces of the puzzle as to why your business isn't working, so that you can fix it and then continue to grow your business. By the way, quick side note pro tip here, and I'm gonna throw out a couple agents under the bus on this one, because I've talked to quite a few also, and they actually, they think that the magic solution in terms of what I'm talking to you right now is to hire agencies to handle their lead gen, when in reality, it's probably the worst thing to do. You're skipping steps. You're not understanding how this stuff works. You're just paying someone to do it. That's the reason you're getting really crappy results. So I would highly recommend maybe taking the time to invest into learning some of these lead generation, lead nurture, sales, fulfillment, and retention strategies and systems first before going out and having to hire someone. That way, when you're hiring someone, you know exactly what they're doing, versus giving someone some money with the expectation and the hope that they're going to deliver on some far-fetched scheme like, hey, I'm going to pay you $500 and you're going to give me like 100 leads. It doesn't work like that. Like, it's better you understand how the process works. Anyways, yeah, hope you guys found some value in this video. That said, if you really enjoyed this one, check out this one. It's going to be just as good. Bye-bye.